Here we are again. We are back together, and it is another winter's day here in the birthplace of the English language. And you know where that is, don't you? Of course you do. This is English Addict coming to you live and direct from England. We are back together again, me and you, together once more. Hi everybody, this is Mr. Duncan in England. How are you today? Are you okay? I hope so. Are you feeling happy? Are you feeling super duper today? I really hope you are. My name is Duncan. I talk about English. I love English very much. You might say that I'm one of those up there. I am an English addict. And I have a feeling, maybe, perhaps, you might be one of those as well. Here we are again. Yes, we have made it all the way to the beginning of another week. How has your week been so far? Has it been a good week, or has it been a load of rubbish so far? I don't know really. We had a lovely day yesterday, by the way. We had some visitors come over and we went for a nice meal. Very nice time, some lovely food, and I tried something yesterday that I haven't eaten for a very long time. I had, and I know this might upset people, if you are a vegetarian or a vegan, turn away now, because I'm going to say something that might upset you. Prepare to be triggered. I had pheasant yesterday. It was rather nice. A very strange meat. It's rather like eating lamb. I don't know why, but pheasant meat is very strange. It's a little bit like eating lamb, and I'm not sure why, but it was very nice. Much nicer than the first time I tried pheasant. We had that somewhere else in Much Wenlock, and whilst eating it, I noticed that there were lots of hard lumps inside the meat, and I realised afterwards it was actually the buckshot, the things that they use to shoot the pheasants were still inside the meat. So whilst I was eating the meat, I had to spit the buckshot out of my mouth, which made a very interesting sensation, to say the least. It's nice to see you here today. If you haven't already noticed, he's not here today. We don't have Mr. Steve, unfortunately. I'm very sorry about that. He did say he was going to be here today, but unfortunately, because sometimes Steve forgets things, he forgot that he was meeting up with some of his former work colleagues, people he used to work with. So they were going today to have a lovely meal. In fact, that's what they're doing right now, whilst I am here on my own presenting today's live stream. So I'm ever so sorry because of this man. Naughty Mr. Steve. Naughty, 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 naughty. There is no Mr. Steve. But he said he's free for the rest of the week. So hopefully he will be with us on Thursday. So there will be Mr. Steve on Thursday. But please don't let that put you off. Please don't go away. Please stay with me. We have an interesting subject to talk about today. Something that we all like to think we have. But quite a few people don't have that particular thing. Today we are talking about common sense. Being sensible. Maybe be doing things carefully. You are doing things in a careful way. You are thinking about the thing you are about to do. And you are using common sense. We are talking about that later on as well. Yes, we have made it to the start of another week. It's been okay so far, rather enjoyable, in fact. Yes, it's Tuesday. Tuesday has arrived, and yes, it is a super duper one, I think. Tuesday, the 13th of December 2022. Not long to go. The year is slowly coming to an end. We only have about 3 weeks left, and then we will be into another year, a new year. And as I always wish every year, as the old year passes and the new one approaches, I always hope that the following year will be better than the previous one. This year, I'm not going to lie, I'm not going to say anything that's untrue. This year has been pretty awful. That's all I'm saying for now. But we might have a look back over the year from your point of view or from my point of view a little bit later on. Oh, it is lovely outside, by the way. Let's have a little look outside the window because it is very nice at the moment outside. Oh, look at that. Now, we had some snow at the weekend, but most of the snow has now gone. There is a little bit of snow left in certain places, but not much. However, apparently this Sunday it's going to snow, and they have forecast heavy snow. So during Sunday's live stream, we might actually have some heavy snow during the live stream. So I hope you will be able to join us for that on Sunday, next Sunday. And of course, I am with you on Thursday as well. We are doing some extra live streams during the month of December as a nice way of ending the year. I hope you are having a good day today so far. I had a little surprise the other day. Something lovely came into the garden. A bird, a particular type of bird that I've never had in the garden before, ever. We will be having a look at that in a few moments. A bird that I was so surprised to see. A bird that never ever comes into our garden. But at the moment there is one, just one. And it appears to have created a little home for itself in the back garden because there is lots of food there. So I will tell you all about that a little bit later on as well. Talking of the live stream, we also have the live chat. It wouldn't be the live stream without you here today. Can I say hello to the live chat? Who was first? Oh, very interesting. The champion is back. He is back in first place at the top of the pile. Vitas, you are first on today's live chat. Congratulations to you. It's nice to see you back, Vitas. Back on the top where you belong. In fact, anyone can be first. Anyone. I have no favourites, as you know. We also have Mosen, we have Beatrice, we have Francesca. Hello to you as well. Paolo is here. We also have Claudia. Here is a question that I did not ask last week, but I'm going to ask it today. Can you guess what the question is? Can you? Do you know what the question is? I think you do. What's cooking, Claudia? What have you got in the pot? What's cooking, Claudia? Is it something spicy and hot? Is it something salty or not? Oh, Claudia, what is in the pot? pot. Claudia, what is in the pot today? Are you cooking something nice? Is there something delicious bubbling in your pot? Please let me know today. I would love to find out. I'm always interested in these things. As you know, I love food. If there is one thing I love about this time of year, as we head towards Christmas, you know what I'm going to say. Food. It's all about the food. I was saying this yesterday to Mr. Steve's sister, because that's one of the special guests we had yesterday joining us for lunch. And I was saying to Steve's sister that, to be honest with you, Christmas presents mean less to me as I get older. However, I still love to eat. During the Christmas period, anything, especially my Christmas dinner. I always love my Christmas lunch on Christmas Day with Mr. Steve. We normally have Brussels sprouts, carrots, parsnips. You have to have parsnips. I'm sorry, you do. Some people don't like parsnips, including Mr. Steve's sister. But I think you have to have parsnips. And of course, traditionally, people have turkey. However, we are having chicken. We normally have chicken because, to be honest with you, turkey is too big. There's too much turkey. There's only 2 of us on Christmas Day, so it's too much, really. And we don't like to waste food. So instead, we normally have chicken on Christmas Day instead of turkey. I wonder what Claudia is cooking. Oh, it would appear that Claudia is actually doing some baking today. Very interesting. So you are baking a cake. What type of cake? Could you please explain? Give me more details, because now I am really intrigued to find out what is going on. Hello to Anouar. Hello, Anouar, who is watching in Morocco. I suppose I should say congratulations to you, because you are going through to the semi-finals of the World Cup. Of course, we're talking football, aren't we? We are. Oh, can I also say hello to... Here he is. You know who I'm talking about. Luis Mendez is here today. Hello, Luis. Nice to see you here as well. Nice to see you back on the live chat. Are you looking forward to Christmas? Do you celebrate Christmas? I know not everyone does. I know there are people who don't celebrate Christmas for various reasons. Maybe your location, maybe your traditions don't include the Christmas festivities. However, a lot of people these days do. And they do like to celebrate the Christmas period. Now, to be honest, I like Christmas very much. It is a good chance for people to relax. Maybe it is a good chance to get in touch or contact people you haven't spoken to for a long time. Isn't that a good idea? I think so. It is something a lot of people do. If maybe there is a person in your life to whom you haven't spoken for a long time, perhaps this is a good opportunity to do it. Maybe you can mend a relationship, or maybe you can fix the difference between you and another person. And this time of year is always a very good opportunity to make amends, to fix a problem. Maybe a person you've stopped talking to. Maybe you've had an argument in the past. I always think Christmas time is a good time to get in touch with people with whom you have not talked to for a long time. What do you think of that? A good idea or not? Hello, Mila Slavinskaya. I hope I pronounce your name right. Christmas is my favourite holiday season. I think so. One of the special things about Christmas, of course, is it happens in winter. And winter can be quite a magical time of year. If you have the cold weather, if you have snow, I always think that Christmas has a much deeper meaning if there is snow around. I think so. So I'm looking forward to that. Hopefully there will be some snow as well. Hello also to Palmyra. Oh, apparently Claudia says the cake is now ready. Now I will put the cannelloni in the oven, and it is stuffed with eggplant and mozzarella cheese. I am jealous. Right now, can you see my face is going green? As I stand here now, I'm becoming very envious because that sounds absolutely delicious. I love eggplant. I love melted cheese. I love cannelloni as well. So that's a type of, I suppose it's a type of pasta as well. So very nice. That sounds lovely. That really does sound good. I am officially 100% jealous now. Definitely. Hello, Edith. Hello, Edith. My favourite festive season is Christmas. I think so. I think it's a good time of year. I think a lot of people want to sample your cooking. I have a feeling, Claudia, that you might be a very good cook. And that is the reason why I often mention your oven or your pot, because I'm always interested to find out what you are doing. Beatrice says, I like Christmas celebrations, although it's a bit sad at 12 o'clock when we cheer and we feel sad because my father and mother are not with us anymore. But it's lovely to know that my brother is with me. I always say that this time of year is a good time to think of those who are no longer with you and also those who are still here with you, especially if it's someone that you've lost touch with. So I always think at this time of year it is good to get in touch, contact someone, maybe a person you haven't spoken to for a long time, but you keep thinking, I must contact that person one day. I want to get back in touch with them. Now is the opportunity to do it. I always think Christmas is a good time to do it. But yes, I agree with you, Beatrice. It is a strange time of year, especially if you spend your time, or you did spend your time in the past, with your relatives, which, to be honest with you, most of us have when you think about it. So I think it is a good opportunity. It is a good opportunity to fix those differences that you've had with someone in the past. I always think it's a good opportunity. And we all do it, including me. There are people in my life who I don't speak to anymore, or maybe someone I've lost contact with, especially people from my past. I've always wanted to contact them. Of course, sometimes it is not possible to contact them because you've lost their details, or maybe they've moved or changed their phone number. And I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, Mr. Duncan, I would imagine a lot of people do that with you. They change their phone number so you can't get in touch with them. I know what you're thinking out there in YouTube land. How dare you? So we have a very busy live chat today. Thank you for joining me. I had a lovely surprise in the garden. Would you like to see something really amazing? Maybe not amazing to you, but to me, it was quite amazing. I had a little visitor. In fact, the bird in question is still in the garden. It has spent the past 3 days in the garden feeding, and it looks very comfortable in the garden. Would you like to have a look at it? Here it is. Here is the bird that I've never had before, but now it has appeared. After 10 years of living here, I have never seen this particular bird before, but it's here. Finally, it has arrived. It has decided to come and say hello to me. Oh, look at that. There it is. So that is a very unusual bird. It is black and white, and it is called a pied wagtail. And the reason why it's called a wagtail is because its tail will wag up and down. You might be able to see it doing it. So this is a pied wagtail, and it is an unusual bird. And the strange thing is we never get them here where I live. However, in Much Wenlock, there is a large field, a large recreation area, a large field where during the summer months there are many, many wagtails, but we never get them here where I live. So imagine my surprise a couple of days ago when I saw one in the garden. It's a very lovely bird. It's slightly larger than a sparrow, and as you can see, it tends to move around very quickly. It's not the easy bird or the easiest bird to actually film. It's not very easy to film. You have to keep moving your camera around all the time because it never stays still, as you can see. It is a very active bird, but it's beautiful. Isn't that lovely? So I was quite surprised to see this particular bird in the garden because I've never had one before. So imagine my excitement. And I think this particular bird has made itself very comfortable in the garden because there is a lot of food that I've put out over the past few days, and that is one thing many birds need at this time of year. They really do rely on human beings leaving out peanuts, seeds, suet, and all sorts of other things as well. So there it is, a little unexpected visitor to my garden, a little pied wagtail. Isn't that lovely? What a cute little bird it is. I hope you enjoyed that. They are really nice, actually. They're very hard to film. I always think the pied wagtail is very similar to Mr. Steve. It never stops moving around. It's very hard to film because it keeps moving. It never stays still for very long. Mila says the pied wagtail is really cute. Yes, they are lovely birds, very unusual birds, and they have some very strange little habits. It's a pity that we don't get them here during the summer, but if I go over the hill at the back of my house, and if I go into Much Wenlock, they're everywhere. Lots of them during the summer, but we never get them here on this side of Wenlock Edge, unfortunately. Palmyra, I think you are right, by the way, Palmyra. I don't think the pheasant that you ate the other day is the same one that you see in your garden. No, I don't think so. I think it's a very different one. At this time of year, during the month of December, it is legal, it is allowed, you can do it, you can shoot pheasants. So during the month of December, there are certain days when you can actually shoot pheasants. And that's one of the reasons why people have pheasant at Christmas time, because it's one of the only times of the year that you can actually hunt or kill pheasants. Whenever I see the birds, Mr. Duncan, I always think of you. Thank you, Claudia. That's very kind of you to say. Thank you very much. I know I've mentioned this today already, but I'm going to mention it again. Yes, we are. I think next Sunday, it will be 1 week before that special day. I've already mentioned it, haven't I? You know what I'm talking about. It's coming. The holidays are coming. Christmas is on the way. Christmas time is coming. Are you ready? I know one person who is not ready, and that person is Mr. Steve. He said he's not ready for Christmas. He hasn't bought any presents yet, which is a little bit worrying for me, actually. I'm slightly worried that Steve has not bought any presents at the moment. And one of the other reasons why I'm worried is because there are lots of strikes, lots of industrial action taking place this month. We have the postal workers, we have drivers, we have possibly nurses going on strike. Lots of people are going on strike. They are taking industrial action. They are protesting because they want a pay rise. And also, who else? Train drivers, bus drivers. Although I think the bus drivers have actually reached an agreement. So I don't think they're going on strike. But the train drivers definitely are going on strike. So there is a lot of industrial action taking place leading up to Christmas. Lots of people protesting about their low wages. They want a pay increase. So that is also one thing that is worrying people as well. Hello, Edith. Edith says pheasant soup is a very delicious meal. Sounds nice, yes. Well, I had pheasant with mashed potatoes and vegetables. Very nice. We went to a lovely place, not very far away from where I live, in fact. And yes, it was lovely. We had a lovely time meeting up with Mr. Steve's sister and also his brother-in-law as well. So all four of us went to a lovely place. We had something to eat. We had a very long chat. I don't know why, but the last twice recently, we've met each other. We've all met up together. And all we've been doing is talking non-stop. We seem to have so much to talk about. We really do. Can I say hello to... I want to say hello to Iraq. Can I say hello? Hi, Iraq. Shihab Ahmad is here. Hello to you, Shihab, and I hope you're feeling good today. Live from England. You can see behind me, that is the view at the moment from the window. You can see there is some snow. Can you see there? And also there. There is still some snow. Not much. But on Sunday, if you join on Sunday, you might see snow falling. Heavy snow, apparently. So it looks as if we are going to get a lot of snow on Sunday. And I hope you will stick around to find out. We are looking at a certain subject today. We are looking at common sense. Words and phrases connected to being sensible. Maybe if you have to follow a certain procedure. Maybe you have to follow certain safety rules. Quite often, it involves using common sense. And for those missing Mr. Steve today, don't worry, he has promised to be with us, hopefully, on Thursday. So I will be back with you on Thursday. Oh, Mr. Duncan, Thursday as well. And yes, next Sunday also we are here with you. Hopefully you will join us, because I know next Sunday it is also the World Cup final. Who will be playing? Who will be in the final? Who do you think will be in the final? A lot of people are saying that who is the favourite at the moment? Because most of the favourites have been knocked out. I know Morocco are playing in the semi-final, but who else is playing? Who else? Anyone? I know who isn't. England are definitely not playing in the World Cup. They will not be in the final, unfortunately. That's a pity, I have to say. That is a shame. It is a real shame. As I always say, in any competition, may the best team win, whoever it happens to be. So we are looking at a certain subject today. I hope you will stick with me as we go through words and phrases connected to common sense. Common sense is something we like to think we all have. I bet you do. I bet you think that you have a lot of common sense. Common sense is the way of thinking logically, quite often about the things you are going to do. Maybe things that require a certain amount of care or consideration, or maybe safety. We often use the phrase common sense. The phrase common sense relates to the process of logical or sensible thought. So I suppose in any situation you might say that there is a certain amount of common sense that we have to have, or maybe we have to think in a certain way before we do a particular task, something we are going to do. Quite often you have to think about the safety issues. Is it safe to do that particular thing? Do I need to take care? Do I need to have some extra precautions? Precaution. I like that word, by the way. Precaution. When we talk about the word precaution, it means you are doing something in a certain way to ensure your safety. Precautions. You are wary of the dangers, and quite often you will have to take precautions during that time. So the phrase common sense relates to the process of logical or sensible thought, and that is the way we often define it. The obvious methods of doing something normally mean that common sense is being used. So the obvious methods of doing something quite often are the safest. Something that you are going to do normally involves following certain rules or procedures, and many of those procedures involve being safe. So obvious things, clear things, things that are easy to remember. If you are going to do something that is risky or dangerous, there are often things you have to consider. The obvious methods of doing something normally mean that common sense is being used. But of course, as we will find out later, not everyone uses common sense. Sometimes people forget, or they just ignore the safety procedures. To observe the safest way of doing something means that common sense will be practiced. So you are following certain rules. So if you are doing something that may or may not be dangerous, so even if the thing appears to be safe, maybe sometimes you have to think about what you are doing and how you are going to do it. Or, of course, you might be doing something dangerous like this. Maybe you are going to climb a tree because you want to cut some of the branches off. Many people do this, and many people every year fall from trees. I think it's one of the most common things that people do in their garden when we are talking about accidents and mishaps. Falling, I think, is the most common. Falling from trees, or maybe falling from a roof. If you are on top of the roof, you can fall from the roof. Maybe you are not being safe. Maybe you are not using common sense. You are doing something risky or dangerous. You might have an accident. I suppose also people might fall from ladders as well. So that's another thing where a person might not observe the safety procedures. They will not use their common sense, and quite often they will end up having an accident, unfortunately. Claudia says, Mr. Steve did something very risky the other day. He did. He went off in the snow. He was driving to one of his concerts that he was performing in. And we had quite a lot of snow, to be honest. We did have a lot of snow that fell. And Mr. Steve went out in the car, and I was very worried about him. But he was safe. He was safe. Safe and sound, as they say. Hello, Christina. Hello to you as well. Hello also to Huang Trong. Hello, Mr. Duncan from Vietnam. Hello to Vietnam. It's nice to see you here today. We are talking about common sense. To think before doing something risky will require common sense to be observed. To think before doing something risky, as I just mentioned, Mr. Steve the other day was driving his car and there had been a lot of snow falling. So the roads were covered with slippery, cold snow. And I thought that Steve was taking a risk. I really did. So quite often you have to think before doing something dangerous or risky. It will often require common sense to be observed. So quite often we use the word observe to mean follow. You follow a certain rule, or you follow a certain list of instructions. You observe those lists. You look at them, you read them, you remember them, and then you follow them. You observe the rules. So to think before doing something risky. Of course, not everyone does that. Not everyone thinks before doing something risky. Quite often people will do things and they will take no precautions whatsoever. Here's a good one. An activity, as I mentioned earlier, an activity done high up requires some level of safety and common sense. Anything that means you are going up. Maybe you are climbing a ladder or a tree. Maybe you are going up onto the roof. Maybe you are cleaning the windows on the outside and you have to climb a ladder. All of those things are dangerous. They are dangerous activities. An activity done high up requires some level of safety and common sense. You have to think before you do it. Do I need to do that thing? Is it important? Do I need to be careful? Do I have to take care? A dangerous sport or activity. So maybe something that you want to do, maybe a certain pastime or a certain sport. Quite often in sport, there are dangers. There are parts of your body that might be damaged, injured. You might be seriously injured doing these sports. So there are moments where you have to take care. You have to use common sense. A dangerous sport or activity will require special clothing or equipment to be used. So I suppose a good example is your head. Your brain does not like being banged around. It does not like receiving impacts. And a common problem, if you injure your head, or if you bang your head, or if you knock your head on something, you can suffer something called concussion, which is literally where your brain moves around inside your skull, and it can cause damage to the nerves. And it's not a good thing to have. Concussion is not a good thing to have. That's one of the reasons why they always say if you've injured your head in some way, if you've taken a blow or maybe something has hit you on the head and you feel a little unwell, you must never go to sleep. They always advise that. And if you feel unwell after hitting your head, you should always go to a hospital or seek some sort of medical attention. So there are many sports, many activities that will require special clothing or equipment to be used. I'm sure you can think of quite a few. This is where we talk about the negative side of common sense. It is not good to expect a person to use common sense. So never assume that a person is going to be sensible. Never assume that a person is going to follow common sense. Quite often we do things without thinking. Sometimes we do things without following any common sense. Maybe we are going to do something risky. Maybe we are going to do something that we haven't thought through. We haven't thought about the consequences of that action. So it is not good to expect a person to use common sense, as they will often try to avoid observing it. And it is true, I suppose one of the worst offenders of not following common sense, I'm sure you know what I'm going to say. Of course, we are talking about young people. Quite often young people will do things dangerous, things that are reckless, things that might be risky. Young people quite often will not think of the consequences, and that can lead to all sorts of terrible things happening. So it is not good to expect a person to use common sense, as they will often try to avoid observing it. And I think that's true. Even adults, many adults will try to find a way around doing something. Maybe there is something on your roof that you want to fix, and you think, I will just go up onto the roof. I'm going to go on top of the roof and I'm going to fix that problem. You might not even consider the danger of doing it. You might not even consider the risks. You just think, I'm going to do that right now. It does happen, and that's why accidents happen so often. It is the reason why. So here are some examples of not following common sense, not using common sense. So we have examples including climbing a tree without a harness. So quite often people will go up into trees, they will climb trees, maybe for a sense of fun or adventure. They want to have a little bit of danger or risk, and they will climb a tree. But of course, the problem with climbing trees is quite often you might think that you can climb trees much better than you really can. And you might end up falling and injuring yourself. And I did it once as a child. I was a teenager. I was a young lad, and I was climbing a tree one day, and I slipped. One of the branches snapped, and I fell all the way down to the ground, and it was not much fun. I will be honest with you. I was lucky not to break anything, to be honest. So climbing a tree without a harness, or And this is another one that people do sometimes. I know in certain countries the rules are different, but riding a motorcycle without a helmet, without any safety equipment on your head, dangerous, risky. It is common sense to make sure that you protect certain parts of your body, including your head, maybe your hands, and also your knees. Because I used to ride a motorcycle many years ago. I used to ride a motorbike all over the place. And I always had to observe certain safety procedures, certain items of clothing, especially a helmet, a crash helmet. I would often wear, to be honest. Hello to the live chat. Don't worry, I haven't forgotten you. Don't worry, I know you're still there. So, common sense often involves following certain safety procedures. The most common accidents occur when common sense was not practiced, when it was not followed, when people were thinking, it won't happen to me. The only problem with thinking like that is quite often it will happen to you. We become reckless. We don't think of the consequences, especially when we're young. It's true. Common sense often relates to being sensible and taking care, or it can relate to general safety rules. So with many things, especially in your work environment, and I'm sure you have come across this, I have in my life, there might be certain places where you work or certain jobs that you do where you have to be safe. You have to follow common sense. Maybe a dangerous job. Maybe if you work on a building site, there are many hazards, many dangers, many things that could injure you. Or if you are careless, if you don't follow common sense, you might find that you have an accident, or even worse. Here are some ways of following the rules and also following common sense. For example, climbing a ladder. If you go up a ladder, you have to make sure that someone at the bottom is holding onto it. They are holding the ladder. That is common sense. Maybe if you are cooking something, Claudia, I'm talking to you. Maybe you are cooking something in the kitchen. Maybe you have something cooking in the oven or on the stove. You have to make sure that you pay attention. Don't forget about it. It is common sense, simple logic, common sense. If you are about to do something dangerous or risky, you have to make sure that you have the right equipment. You also have to make sure that you check the equipment. One of the most common safety checks, of course, is before a plane takes off. Quite often, the pilot and the co-pilot will have to sit for a period of time and they will go through lots of checks. They will go through a procedure where they check everything to make sure that the plane is functioning properly before it takes off. So common sense can also relate to safety procedures as well. Not following common sense might be described as reckless, foolish, stupid, unsafe, treacherous, dangerous, foolhardy. I like that last one. Now maybe you've never heard of that one. Foolhardy. A person who is foolhardy is a person who does things without thinking them through, or maybe they don't take precautions, maybe they don't use common sense. I suppose you might say that Mr. Steve the other day when he went out in the car after the snow had fallen. You might say that Mr. Steve was foolhardy. He was doing something that might be seen as dangerous. Something risky can be described as foolhardy. I like that one. It's an interesting word. So if that's a new word, if you've never seen that word before, please let me know. Common sense can be described as reasonable, rational, coherent, logical, sound, practical, sensible. So all of these words describe common sense. You are doing something that you have thought about, you have given it a lot of thought, you have prepared yourself for doing it, you have decided to do something risky or dangerous, but also you have done things that will make sure that if something goes wrong, you are not injured or killed. It's always good to use common sense, even though sometimes we don't. Here we go. When in doubt, if you are not sure, if you are uncertain, when in doubt, use common sense and don't take risks. I know it's very easy to say, Mr. Duncan, it's easy to say that. But in real life, we all like to take risks sometimes. As many people say, there is a great proverb, it is better to be safe than sorry. Quite often, it is better to be safe and follow common sense than to be reckless and get into trouble. It is better to be safe than sorry. And I think that is a good way of ending today's live stream. Whatever you are doing, especially if it's something dangerous or risky, maybe it's something connected to climbing high up, or perhaps you are doing something with electricity. That's another one. Many people every year, they are injured and sometimes killed because of electricity, because they've been taking risks. They haven't been careful. It is better to be safe than sorry. Common sense, thinking before you do something. And that was today's subject. I hope you enjoyed it. Looking at doing things that might be dangerous or risky. And I suppose in our day-to-day lives, there are situations or moments where you will do something without taking care. Maybe if it's something you have to do in a hurry, or maybe if it is something unexpected. Maybe you have to make a repair to something very quickly, and you don't have time to think. Sometimes you don't use common sense. I think it is true that quite often in life we do take risks. I think so. Beatrice says, driving whilst using your mobile phone. That is something many people do. Sometimes when I'm driving around with Mr. Steve, if Mr. Steve is driving the car and I'm looking out of the window, I see many people on the motorway travelling at high speed and they're talking on their phone. So they have one hand on the steering wheel and the other hand they're holding their phone and they're driving. Sometimes it's 60 or maybe 70 miles an hour and they're talking on the phone like this. No problem. Everything's all right. I'll be fine. No, you won't. Especially if the police catch you. Thank you very much for your company today. It's very nice to see you all here again, joining me live. You can watch this again, by the way, later on. You can watch this all over again with captions as well. I will see you on Thursday. That is when I'm back with you on Thursday from 2 p.m. UK time. And yes, Mr. Steve will be here on Thursday, definitely. I've told him. I've said, Mr. Steve, you have to be here on Thursday. You must be here because everyone is missing you. So Steve will be back with us on Thursday as well. And I will see you then as well. Take care of yourself. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesday. I hope you've had a good time today. And we will get together and enjoy the English language once more on Thursday. This is Mr. Duncan saying thanks for watching. Don't forget to give me a like as well. A lovely like can go a long way. It really can. See you on Thursday. And of course, until the next time we meet, you know what's coming next. Yes, you do. Take care of yourself. Stay happy. Keep that smile upon your face. And of course, ta-ta for now.